Hello and welcome to another GCSE revision video, and in this video we're going to look at percentage increase, percentage decrease and percentage change. Okay, so what do we mean by percentage decrease? Well, the percentage decrease is the actual amount that it's decreased by expressed as a percentage of the original value. Okay, well, here in Britain, shortly after the Brexit vote, the British pound fell to the dollar from a historic value of $1.48 just before the vote came in to $1.36 just after the vote came in. So the question is, what was the percentage decrease in the value of the pound? Okay, so the pound actually fell by 12 cents. That's $1.48 minus $1.36, which is just 12 cents. So the percentage decrease is 12 cents over $1.48, and then multiply the result by 100, and that gives us 8.1%. So the pound fell about 8% on the dollar. You may find other people using the formula 1 minus the new value divided by the old value, all multiplied by 100. So I've just made this slide to show you that actually they're exactly the same calculations. If we remember when we subtracted fractions, we had to make the denominators the same and then we subtracted the numerators. Well, if we remember that the whole point of the equal sign is that if one thing is equal to the other, then that other thing is equal to the original. So if we can make the denominators the same and merge them together when we're subtracting fractions, we can also split the denominator so long as we have the same denominator over the numerators. So $1.48 minus $1.36 all over $1.48 is the exact same calculation as $1.48 over $1.48 minus $1.36 over $1.48. Now $1.48 divided by $1.48 is just 1 because anything divided by itself is 1. So when you see 1 minus the new value over the old value, that's just the same calculation as the difference between the old value and the new value, all divided by the old value. So in summary, the percentage decrease is calculated by taking the new value away from the old value and dividing the difference by the old value and then multiplying by 100. Although you might see it also expressed as 1 minus the new value over the old value, all multiplied by 100. Okay, so what do we mean by percentage increase? Well, the percentage increase is the actual increase expressed as a percentage of the original value. Let's take an example. Say a house was sold in 2012 for £85,000. It was sold recently for £120,000. What is the percentage increase in the value of the house? So the actual increase is £120,000 minus £85,000, which is £35,000. So the percentage increase is £35,000 over £85,000 times 100, which is a 41% increase. Again, you might see it expressed as the new value divided by the old value minus 1, all times by 100. Again, just as with the percentage decrease, we can show that the two approaches are mathematically identical. So again, with the percentage increase, it's just the new value minus the old value divided by the old value multiplied by 100. Or you might see it as new value over old value minus 1, all multiplied by 100. the two approaches are mathematically identical, so you pick whichever makes the most sense to you, whichever's easiest for you. Okay, so the reason the percentage decrease and the percentage increase were swapped around was to make sure we always have a positive outcome. If we're just talking about percentage change, then we just use the formula that we used for the percentage increase, which is the new value minus the old value all over the old value multiplied by 100. And then if you have a positive outcome, you know that you have a percentage increase. And if you have a negative result, you know that you have a percentage decrease. Okay, well, so much for the theory. Let's have a go at putting that into practice. What is the percentage change between, say, loaf of bread costs £1 in the supermarket? And that was last week. And then this week it costs, I don't know, £1.20. So what is the percentage increase? Okay, so that's a difference of 20p. So that's actually 0.2p, 0.20 divided by, and that's the £1 because the original value was £1. So it's increased by 20p out of £1. So that's equal to a 20% increase. Okay, let's try a slightly more trickier one. This time, this loaf of bread cost £1.20 last week. And this week it costs £1. So this time we're dealing with a decrease. So again, it's decreased by 20p or £0.2. Only this time, instead of 0.2 over £1, it's 0.2 over £1.20 because the original value was £1.20. Now, when this was increased by 20p, that was a 20% increase. So what is the percentage decrease this time? This time it's 0.2 divided by 1.2 times 100, and it's a 16.66% decrease. I'm going to say 17% decrease. So even though the loaf of bread has went up by 20p and then came down by 20p, when it went up it was a 20% increase, and when it came down it was only a 17% decrease. So be very careful on your exams. Just because something's risen and fallen by the same actual amount doesn't mean it's risen and fallen by the same percentage. Whenever you're dealing with a percentage increase or percentage decrease, be very alert to what percentage it is of. In this case, the 20p is 20% of £1, but it's 17% of £1.20. Okay, I hope that was helpful, and I'd like to wish you all the best with your exams, and good luck with your revision, and I'll see you in a future video.